July 21st marks the National Aboriginal Day here in Canada, a day dedicated to celebrating Canadian Indigenous culture and heritage. With the tenuous history of Canada and the mistreatment of Aboriginals, Canadian government is now committed to renewing the relationship with the Indigenous people based on respect, cooperation, and partnership. So says the latest release by the Indigenous and Northern Affairs of Canada. In order to renew relationships and reconcile for the past, the Government of Canada proposed Bill C-33, First Nation Control over First Nations Education Act. The bill aimed to improve education quality and achievement in the First Nation schools. Bill C-33 plans to achieve its goal by ensuring a stable and predictable funding that facilitates long-term planning. By the creation of an aggregated First Nation Education Authority, which will oversee and manage qualities in the First Nation schools, they will be in charge of regulating the schools, teaching curriculums, and spreading the funds and resources. But while all the intentions of the Bill C-33 seems to come from the right place, it was not supported by the actual people it was created for. The First Nation Chief of Assembly rejected the proposal of Bill C-33. They felt that they were not properly consulted and felt the legislation failed to recognize the First Nations' priorities and jurisdiction. Furthermore, the already existing First Nations Education Authority were never consulted during the development of Bill C-33. That's odd. Why would the bill that calls for an already existing authority never once ask them for their input? While the government does superficial acts such as propose the Bill C-33, the funding gap between education programs on reserves and the provincial system is widening. In 2013, the gap was at $595 million and set to increase. While the province provides a minimum funding of $21,000 per student, a student on a reserve receives only $14,500. That's only 69% of what the majority of the country's students are receiving. Don't you feel like the answer to the education gap is somewhere in those figures? Bill C-33 is supposed to bring about a better outcome for students at all grade levels, which leads to all students having a skill and knowledge to reach their full potential, making positive contribution to their community and participating in a strong Canadian economy. This will be done by teaching according to the Western perspectives to Indigenous students, so that they are able to participate, or shall we say, assimilate into the Queen's Canada. Didn't Canada already try that? Didn't they fail? The horrors and wounds of the residential schools are still raw in the hearts of so many Indigenous people. That would explain their reluctance to trust the education system, and paired with low resources and funds, there is no wonder Indigenous students fail to achieve the standards set forth by the Canadian government. In the 1600s, British came to the Turtle Islands and claimed it as their own. They mistreated, violated, and murdered the already existing people of the land. They continued to claim Canada as their own and make laws and regulations that have biased outcomes to create a strong Canadian economy, completely overlooking the needs of Aboriginal people of Canada. Canadian government is now committed to renewing the relationship with the Indigenous people based on respect, cooperation, and partnership. Then I suggest we start by actually creating respectful partnership and cooperating to bring about a Canada that is actually beneficial for all that live in it.